Hey guys, it's Paradise, and did you know that the long-awaited game Project Awakening isn't dead and is still alive at Cygames? This is a studio that has us yearning for their next new game. It's easy to forget just how much of a banger Relink was because this has been a year stacked with games and action games in general, with the release of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Dragon's Dogma 2, and even the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC for Elden Ring. Well, we've previously promised to keep you guys up to date when any information is revealed for Project Awakening or hints of it still being alive, and there was something that slipped even under our radar. It's a small thing, but we're just happy to see that the project is still being acknowledged by Cygames, as their parent company earlier this year released this slide within their financial report, which was posted by the website Gamatsu. On the slide, it showcases the various games that the company and Cygames are working on as an extension. You can see on the left side that the released games have been updated with Granblue Fantasy Relink and Granblue Fantasy Versus, the fighting game. However, what we're looking for is the fact that they have included Project Awakening and their upcoming games under future plans. This is hinting that the game is still likely in production, even though it hasn't been talked about for quite a while. This actually has us pretty excited, as we're just coming off Shadow of the Erdtree, so we're jumping at any chance to play something in a similar vibe to that. It's good to note that there are some concerns that the game is vaporware, because there's only been a couple of trailers and some engine footage, but if Relink is an indicator of anything, then Cygames are likely just cooking, as Relink took over 8 years to release, and there was radio silence for most of that development time. In addition to this, Gaming Bolt have reported that one of the Cygame employees confirmed that the title has not been cancelled, as a tweet was put on the @Project Awakening Twitter saying, "Hello, our team has some important messages for you. 1, our game has not been cancelled. 2, we're working hard behind the scenes to bring you the best experience possible, so stay tuned for more updates in the coming months, and thank you for your continued support." But this has been unfortunately confirmed as a fake account, so all we have for now is the slide with that information in it, but we're pretty confident it wouldn't have been included in this slide if it actually was properly cancelled and dead. Personally speaking, and we don't know if we're the only ones that feel this way, but Cygames definitely won us over with Relink, so we have a lot more trust in their future upcoming projects. Relink was definitely a chunky and fun game to play if you completed it and all of its endgame content. But right now it seems like support for the game has died down, and for us we think the game could have done much better because it really was a good game. However, the marketing just wasn't there for it when it really should have been. This is also a little weird because it felt like Granblue Versus had a decent amount of marketing push when it came to that side of things to get more eyes on it, but when Relink released, it just felt like it didn't get that much of a push, even though it released at a decent time in the year. For example, we know that they didn't send out many codes to review, and often not even before release in time for reviews to drop. And for a comparison, compare the release of it to something like Monster Hunter World, where you would see Monster Hunter World everywhere you looked around its release. So with these factors, you could see why it wasn't quite as big as it could have been, and remember, Versus also got a collab with Nier Automata and some crazy other things. Relink would have been absolutely perfect for anime collabs. They could have added in characters or monsters to fight. It would have been amazing. They've even done anime and other collaborations in the Granblue mobile game. But that being said, the game did still do pretty well as a new IP, considering it sold over 1 million copies in 11 days. And nothing really highlights this more than the fact that if we look at the other games listed on the slide, there are 2 that are still unrevealed, but then you also have Project GAM. This looks insane, and we know a lot of people would have been stupidly hyped about this game if they actually knew about it. We'll probably make a full video on this soon, as it isn't a game that we've covered yet, but for those that are interested, Project GAM's full title is Garnet Arena Mages of Magicary. The information we have so far is that this is a flashy action RPG with multiplayer battles. There was footage shown for the game in a behind closed doors presentation, which is what you're looking at the moment, but we can't wait to learn more about this game. So tell us what you think about it, and drop a like and comment below if you're enjoying all of this information. It has been a little while since we've spoken about Project Awakening, so we'll give you a rundown as to what the game is and what's happening with it so far. It was first announced all the way back in 2018 for PlayStation 4, with honestly an epic trailer. It's being developed by Cygames, and it's been described as influenced by Monster Hunter and Dragon's Dogma, both of which are incredible action RPGs with very deep mechanics. The devs say that Project Awakening is an all-new action RPG featuring cutting-edge graphics and a high fantasy setting. As part of the company's ongoing drive to deliver the very best in entertainment, Cygames has assembled a development dream team to create this game, boasting extensive experience across a variety of much-loved video game hits, with it being under the accomplished direction of Gunji Taga, the director, and Ryosuke Aiba, the art director. The team has been working hard on the title and aims to bring a fresh approach to the world of fantasy RPGs. So this is definitely something that we're interested to play, and we know a lot of you are probably going to be interested in it too, especially with it being inspired off of Dragon's Dogma and Monster Hunter. But we haven't heard a lot about it since its initial reveal. But back in 2019, we got some additional information of what to expect, and Push Square did a great job at breaking down those points, so let's run through all of these cool things. Project Awakening will be an open world game, which is pretty cool to hear, and I'd love to see how they're going to execute this, especially with games like Monster Hunter Wilds being more of an open, seamless kind of world. It's also going to have co-op multiplayer components, which makes us believe you're going to be able to team up with friends to hunt these monsters that we got to see in the trailers. But it is going to be a more gritty RPG, as it has lots of fighting, blood, and sweat, which often is something that's missing in these kind of games. It's good to note that for Cygames, this is going to be something new and interesting, so it's not going to have direct comparisons to their previous titles or games, especially when you look at Relink or Granblue Versus or the mobile game, which of course are all very anime in their aesthetic. Cygames are also trying to find a balance between the storytelling and its gameplay being a focus, which is of course the case in lots of games in this sort of space, especially if you look at Monster Hunter, where the gameplay is really the focus and the story is supplementary, so it'll be interesting to see how they tackle this. We also know high fantasy is a big part of the game's inspiration, and Takaki mentions Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones as inspiration for this. From the trailer last year, it indicates that the game is going to be very brutal and have raw battles with creatures, and that the world will also be seamless. On top of all of this, Cygames are aiming to allow for up to 12 players to play together at once, which makes me think just how crazy are some of these monsters going to be to fight if you need 12 people. So it's crazy to think that they're trying to make the game multiplayer as well, and it'll be awesome if they can pull this off and have a single player component for those that just want to play that. In 2021, they showcased the new Solista game engine and mentioned that they had to rework the engine to meet the vision for Project Awakening. This was the last time we have actually heard about it since this new slide came out, but it's exciting to know that they probably haven't cancelled it. Outside of this, we really want to know what their plans are for Relink and all of their games in general. Hopefully we'll see something about them soon at the Tokyo Game Show, or at the very least at a PlayStation showcase sometime this year, as that's where they commonly show their games. So tell us what you think about all of this down below, and subscribe for more news on your favourite games coming very soon.